Action.
Today is a very important day. Number one, it is Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Now we are entering with Rosh Chodesh Sivan. We are going towards Chag HaShavuot, having a few days before of Simcha, known as Shloshet Yemei Hagbala. Days there's no Tahanun from today up to the 12th of Nisan, of Sivan. But today also there's no better day than that to celebrate Rosh Chodesh Sivan by having a siyum. And the siyum of today is very important. First, it is a siyum that concludes 3 Masechtot. Masechet Kinnim, Masechet Tamid, and Masechet Middot. And not only that, why are they so important? Because they conclude Seder Kadashim. You know that the Talmud consists of 6 Sdarim, 6 orders. And each order has many Masechtot. So today we are concluding Seder Kadashim. Just one word about each one of these 3 Masechtot. They are small Masechtot, but each one of them, believe me, is very important to learn and to know. The first one is Masechet Kinnim, a very small Masechet that requires plenty of brains. It's a Masechet that requires a lot of concentration and understanding, and it has to do with the Korban, with the sacrifice that the Yoledet, the one who gave birth, would bring to Bet HaMikdash, as well as the Zava and others, and the Nazir. But the Yoledet, primarily, she would bring, in accordance with the Torah, she has to bring to Bet HaMikdash after she gives birth. She would come to Bet HaMikdash and bring Shne Torim, or Shene Bnei Yonah, 2 little birds in a nest. And the whole Masechet is talking about the possibility of having one of the little chicks that flew from her nest to another nest, and who knows, maybe 7 other women, and it gives you such a mathematical expose that's just unbelievable. And yet the Vilna Gaon says anybody who studies Masechet Kinnim, as small as it is, but with full understanding, he can expect Yeshuot, salvation. That's one thing. The second Masechet is Masechet Tamid. Also a small Masechet, just a few days of learning, that has to do with the Kodesh Seder, the order of Korban HaTamid, the daily sacrifice that used to be brought in Bet HaMikdash. So the order and the description of what happened, together with the place where they were brought, and so forth. That's Korban HaTamid. And the whole Masechet, which has several pages of good learning, not as difficult as Masechet Kinnim, but really something that is a pleasure to study. It's always a pleasure to study Torah. And finally, the last Masechet that I concluded yesterday night, and I think the whole world is going to conclude it tonight, that's Masechet Middot. The measurements that were taken to describe the length and width of Bet HaMikdash in every section of Bet HaMikdash, how long it is, that place which we call Azara, or the place which we call Hechal, or the place which we call Ulam. What is the width, what is the height, what is the length, and it goes into plain measurements, telling us about each and every door, and the leshachot, the rooms, that each room, so many rooms in Bet HaMikdash, each one serving a purpose. And I would like to conclude by saying the last few lines of Masechet Midot, and here it is. There were some of Lishka in the plural is leshachot, and Lishka means a room in which there were all kinds of leshachot. For example, in the Azara of Bet HaMikdash, there were 6 such small rooms. Shalosh Batzafon, Shalosh Badarom, and one is known as Lishkat HaMelach, just for salting the sacrifices and the skins of the animals. They needed a room for that. Lishkat Parva, Lishkat Maddihin, where they washed the keravayim and the stomach and all the things of the korbanot. Lishkat Parva is for the salting of the skins and so forth. Also, the Mishnah in Masechet Midot concludes with the following: that one of the leshachot was, there were other three. One is called Lishkat Ha'etz, one is called Lishkat Gola, one is called Lishkat Gazit. What is remarkable is Lishkat Ha'etz, known as the room for the trees. What was the purpose that it served? So here we have something that's unusual. We have Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, who in fact is the one who is known. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov is the Tanna Kadosh who gave us Masechet Midot. He is the one who did all the measurements. But when he came to Lishkat Ha'etz to teach us what is its purpose, he said, Amar Rabbi Eliezer, Lishkat Ha'etz, shachachti ma hayta meshameshet. I forgot what was the use that Lishkat Ha'etz was used for. It's the most unusual statement. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, I forgot. I don't know what was the purpose. And then in Lishkat Hagola there was a well, Sham haya bor kavua, והגלגל נתון עליו ומשם מספיקים מים לכל העזרה. Was a well of water in Lishkat Hagola from which they drew the water for all the people who were in the Azara where the Kohanim stay and ate. Lishkat Gazit finally is that room in which the Sanhedrin gathered. Chachmei Israel, the great sages of Israel, when they gathered together to bring about a halachic judgment or something, so they had to gather in that section in Bet HaMikdash that is known as Lishkat HaGazit. And that's where it concludes. And it says the following. In Lishkat, what was the primary purpose of the Sanhedrin sitting in Lishkat HaGazit? They would check the Kohanim. The Kohanim would come one by one, and the sages would search into their yichus, into their families, to see if the fact that they are Kohanim is very pure, that it doesn't have any psul, anything that is non-kosher. Today, for example, the Kohanim, they are only by name they are Kohanim, but we really don't know if they are true Kohanim or not. But in the time of Bet HaMikdash, the Kohanim that came to serve in Bet HaMikdash, they had to go through a very, very succinct inspection that was done by the Sanhedrin in Lishkat HaGazit. So listen to what happened. Kohen vedana et hakeuna, Sanhedrin, Lishkat HaGazit, sham hayta Sanhedrin gedola shel Israel, the big Sanhedrin of Am Israel. That's where they sat. Vedana et hakehuna, they would judge the priesthood, which means the Kohen had to perform enough information after thorough investigation by the Sanhedrin to see if his pedigree, if his descendancy from the Kohanim really comes truly from Aaron HaKohen or not. וכהן שנמצא בו פסול לובש שחורים ומתעטף שחורים ויוצא והולך לו. If one of the Kohanim was found to be not so kosher, if one small psul was detected in his lineage as a Kohen, he would immediately be disqualified as a Kohen to serve in Bet HaMikdash. But how did he express that? By putting upon himself garments that are black, and he covers himself with black vestments, and then he goes out and goes. He shows, that's how he expresses his regret and his sadness over the fact that he was found to be disqualified. However, the Kohanim who were found to be kosher without an iota of anything that is that makes their lineage suspicious, lovesh And once they are declared pure and kosher Kohanim, Lovesh Levanim, he would immediately put on himself white garments in the time of the Mikdash, of course. Umit'atef Levanim, he would cover himself with white garments. Nichnas umshamesh im ehav Kohanim. And then he would go with the rest of his brothers Kohanim into Bet HaMikdash to do the service of the Korbanot and all the service that is required from the Kohanim. Ve'yom tov hayu osim. And on that day was a real holiday for everyone that the Kohanim used to celebrate. Why? Because in those Kohanim, Baruch Hashem, total purity was uncovered, and they were so happy to find out that their lineage is pure from Aaron HaKohen. And they used to say, Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu shelo nimtza psul bezar'o shel Aaron. Blessed be the Almighty that not anything that is not kosher has been found in the seed of Aaron. And blessed be the Almighty who chose in Aaron and his descendants and his children to be worthy to stand and serve the work and work for the house of the Lord in Bet HaMikdash, in Bet Kodesh HaKodashim. That is the conclusion of Masechet Midot, which is also the conclusion of Seder Kadashim. And tonight, Be'ezrat Hashem, we shall start Masechet Niddah, a toughy one, and a long one, of course. And that's something else already. Let me just do the reading for the Siyum. Hadran Alach, Masechet Midot. Hadran Alach, Masechet Tamid. Hadran Alach, Masechet Kinim. Hadran Alach, Seder Kadashim. Vehadrach Alan. Da'atan Alach, Seder Kadashim. Masechet Midot Veseder Kadashim. Veda'atach Alan. La nitneshe minnach. Masechet Midot, Masechet Kinin, Masechet Tamid Veseder Kadashim. Vela titneshe minnan. La be'alma aden, vela be'alma de'aten. יהיה רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו שתהיה תורתך אומנותנו בעולם הזה ותהיה עמנו לעולם הבא. חנינה בר פפא, רמה בר פפא, נחמן בר פפא, אחי בר פפא, אבא מרי בר פפא, רפרם בר פפא, רכיש בר פפא, סורחב בר פפא, עדה בר פפא, דרו בר פפא. הערבנה אדוני אלוהינו ודברי תורתך בפינו ובפיות עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה כולנו אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי צאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. מאויבי תחכמני מצוותיך כי לעולם יהי לי בי תמים בחוקיך למען לא אבוש, לעולם לא אשכח פיקודיך כי בם חייתני. ברוך אתה אדוני למדני חוקיך, אמן אמן אמן. צלע ועד. מודים אנחנו לפניך אדוני אלוהינו לאבותינו ששמת חלקנו מיושבי בית המדרש ולא שמת חלקנו מיושבי קרנות, שאנו משכימים והם משכימים. אנו משכימים לדברי תורה והם משכימים לדברים בטלים. אנו עמלים והם עמלים. אנו עמלים ומקבלים שכר והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר. אנו רצים והם רצים. אנו רצים לחיי העולם הבא והם רצים לבאר שחת, שנאמר ואתה אלוהים תורידם לבאר שחת, אנשי דמים ומרמה לא יחצו ימיהם ואני אפתח בך. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהי כשם שעזרתני לסיים מסכת קינים, מסכת תמיד, מסכת מידות וכל סדר קדשים, כן תעזרני להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים ולסיימם, ללמוד וללמד, לשמוע ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, וזכות כל התנאים והאמוראים ותלמידי חכמים מעמוד לי ולזרעי, שלא תמוש התורה מפי ומפי זרעי וזרע זרעי עד עולם, ותתקיים בי בהתהלך תנחה אותך, בשוכבך תשמור עליך, והקיצותה היא תשיחך, כי בי ירבו ימיך ויוסיפו לך שנות חיים, אורך ימים בימינה בשמאלה עושר וכבוד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא דיהו עתיד להתחדתה ולאחיה מתיה ולעסקה יתון לחיי עלמה ולמבנה קרתה דירושלם ולשכללה החלה בגבה ולמעקר פול חנה נוכרעה מן ארעה ולאתה בפול חנדי שמיה לאתרה וימליך קודשה ברכו במלכותה ויקרא ויצמח פורקנה ויקרב משיחה בחייכון ומכון בחיי לכל בית ישראל ועגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם למעל מיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכת השירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה ואמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידון ועל כל תלמידי תלמידיהון ועל כל מן דעסקין באורתה די באתרה קדישה הדן בארץ ישראל ובחוצה לה ודי בכל אתר ואתר יהיה להון ולכון של אמר רבה חינה וחסדה ורחמין וחיין אריכן ומזוני רוויחה ופורקנה מן קודם אבוהון די בשמיה והרעה ואמרו אמן. יש אמר רבה מן שמיה חיים וסבע ישועה ונחמה וישי זהבה ורפואה וגאולה וסליחה וכפרה ורווח והצלה לנו ולכל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו וברחמיו יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ואמרו אמן. מזל טוב רבותיי, מזל טוב יצחק, מזל טוב to me, מזל טוב to you. Everybody is invited to stay with us for a little breakfast in honor of Rosh Chodesh and in honor of the Siyum. Okay my friends, that's